Hi there. So tonight, I kind of want to tell you a little story about something I recently heard. I was on a conference call and one of my business partners shared a very intimate story. Now, the purpose of the story was kind of to put into perspective why, operating a home business so beneficial. But I just want to say that's not the moral of this story of this post. I'm not trying to endorse anything, but let me first tell you the story. She basically explained to us about how about a year or so ago her child had been diagnosed with cancer, and kind of took us through her emotional roller coaster whenever that happened, and then proceeded to talk about how wonderful it was that she was able to spend every moment through chemo and through doctor visits and everything that you kind of go through when a loved one is diagnosed with cancer, and not have to worry about an income. But like I said, I'm not talking about endorsing anything. The one thing that she said that really resonated with me, and that's what I want to talk about, focus on, I guess, this one quote, was she said, sometimes life smacks you so hard that you don't know which way is up. And I thought about that. When she said that, I thought about all the times that life had smacked me, and I realized Jim Rohn's words were correct when he said life happens to all of us. The same wind blows on us all, the wind of opportunity, the wind of change, calm winds, tumultuous winds. We really are in a sailboat, and sometimes a storm comes and life smacks you so hard you don't know which way is up. That's what happened to her during that period of time. She got through it, and her son is fine now, but at that point in time, that was what was going on. And it reminds me of when life smacked me really hard. I remember living in South Florida. Granted, I wasn't on a career path or anything, but I was working and I was making about $65 a year, which is by no means rich, but it was comfortable for me because I had never made more than 20. And I was finally living in a condo on a lake and bought a new car, and I was really getting to the point where I felt like I could provide for my daughter a lifestyle that she deserved. And then I was faced with a terrible decision. My ex-wife decided that she wanted to leave South Florida, and I would either take all of the money that I had saved up in hopes to try and pursue my dream of being an at-home entrepreneur and get a lawyer and fight her in court, or I could concede. And I realized that I didn't want to put my daughter through the horrors of a custody battle in court. So I conceded and I moved back to southern Alabama, and I moved in with my mom and went to making about 1/3 of what I was making living in my old bedroom from high school at 28 years old. That was a point when I felt like life had smacked me pretty damn hard. And I know that everybody goes through stuff like that. Sometimes they're on levels much worse, and sometimes levels not so bad. But it doesn't matter where you are as far as how hard the smack feels. It's just that you get smacked. The reason I bring this up, though, is because I also, I've totally gotten through that, and everything's wonderful now and getting better by the day. But the point is I have a friend right now that's going through a very, very bitter divorce in a similar situation. And the advice I gave him is what prompted me to make this video. I told him, I said, the same wind blows on us all, and it's not about the blowing of the wind, but the set of the sail. So it's not about what happens to you, because it happens to all of us. It's about what you do about it. And I realized that 5 years ago, that advice might not have made a lot of sense to me. But now, I kind of see what it is. When we see these prosperous people, these people who it seems like they have a charmed life, it isn't that life doesn't smack them. It's that as you get older, or as you get wiser, regardless of what your age is, as you learn and embrace new ideas and expand your consciousness, it becomes easier for you to deal with those situations. Because it isn't about what happens, because that happens to everybody. It's about what you do about it. It really does, with wisdom, it really does get easier to deal with these situations. Maybe in the beginning you have a glass jaw, but as you get hit so many times by life, you start hardening up, and then it doesn't hurt so bad. Preparedness becomes easier because you can prepare yourself for worst case scenarios. That is what the message is in this post. I just kind of wanted to reach out and talk to everybody about how, I know that you've been smacked by life before, because I have, and everybody has. And I realize now that that's never going to stop. It doesn't matter how high up the economic plane you climb, or how high up the spiritual plane you climb, or how high up the mental and educational plane you climb. It doesn't matter how much your station in life changes. Life will still find a way to knock you down. And that's finally the message I realized. That's my lesson that I've recently learned. But how you recover, how you bounce back, can change. So just keep that in mind, rather than hoping and praying and wishing that bad things just stop happening, or finding a way to get them to not happen anymore. Realize that that's not the key, because you can't change that. The key is preparedness. The key is bouncing back. The key is raise your level of awareness and wisdom. Expand your consciousness so that you can better deal with these situations. At any rate, this wasn't a diary post. This was more of a revelation that I recently realized, and I wanted to share with all of you. I hope that you can take from it what I did. But thanks so much for tuning in, and be well.